It's never a waste of time to make time for the truth. A moment spent listening and paying attention to the truth can change your life. So let's take a moment for the truth. Psalm 119:22 says, "Take disgrace and contempt away from me, for I comply with your testimonies." There's almost an innate, basic level sense of justice in all people. What I mean by this is when a wrong has been committed upon a person, they immediately want it to be made right. And the thought of an innocent person being punished is something that is easily counted as wrong. The previous verse in this psalm speaks of the moral judgment of God against the proud. We can understand that. But what about when someone is walking in the ways of God, who is keeping the ways of God in their life? What if they find themselves being the subject of harsh treatment for the way they live? That is the focus of this verse. The psalmist makes his plea to God for just such a circumstance. Take disgrace and contempt away from me, for I comply with your testimonies. This is the attitude and treatment that he's receiving. I can't think of any normal individual who relishes such mistreatment from others. It's not abnormal for such abuse to then affect the attitudes of others of the crowd, and they join in the ill treatment. In today's cancel culture, it's all too familiar. But for the saint of God, it shouldn't surprise us. We live in a world that's hostile to God, and therefore this applies to his people. In 2 Timothy 3:12, the Apostle Paul says it directly. Indeed, all who want to live in a godly way in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. Equally, the Apostle Peter speaks of it in 1 Peter 4:12, where he says, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal among you, which comes upon you for your testing, as though something strange were happening to you." The psalmist is simply making a plea to God for relief and perhaps some understanding. Now, you and I have been given more revelation, and we know how we should respond. Jesus speaks of it, for instance, in Matthew 5:11-12, where he says, "Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." The saint who is mistreated for the sake of the Lord should rejoice. They are in the best of company. They are blessed and not cursed. 1 Peter 4:16 states it very clearly. "But if anyone suffers as a Christian, he is not to be ashamed, but is to glorify God in this name." The psalmist declares that he keeps the testimonies of God. The world's harassment is not a reason to stop doing it. Again, in 1 Peter 4:19, God tells us the same. "Therefore, those also who suffer according to the will of God are to entrust their souls to a faithful Creator in doing what is right." Saint of God, remain faithful to the ways of the Lord, regardless of what comes against you for His name's sake. You're in good company. You are blessed, and you bear His name well. When it occurs, hold to this truth and know that the Lord's hand is upon you. That moment will matter. Thanks for watching and listening to Truth Matters Moment. Also, don't forget to look for our weekly podcast called Truth Matters. It comes out every Wednesday. Catch you later.